Hi guys, I thought I would start out by giving you a little information about myself. I am a real estate agent. I've been a realtor now for 20 years. My husband and I, Mark Cormier, are in business together, and about 4 years ago I started our staging business. So I am a buyer's agent, and when you're with a buyer and you're touring homes, as most of you know, it's pretty hard, I would say, to really sell a vacant property. And I realized that after many years of being in the business and just recognizing there was a need for staging. When we did see staging together, it was usually poorly designed. The furniture was a lot of times really cheap furniture, and it ended up just not giving a very positive experience. And I realized there was a need for really good personal staging, and that was part of my reasoning for starting the business. Is I wanted to give our clients, our sellers, an opportunity to have the best possible experience, and staging was a facet of that. Okay, I'm sure you guys are thinking to yourself, we don't need staging. This is a super hot seller's market. We can sell a house without staging. We really don't have to, try every trick in the toolbox. But what I will say is that I have seen in this hot seller's market the difference between a home selling really quickly, but then a home selling really fast with these excellent offers and multiple excellent offers to choose from. And the difference being whether the home was properly placed on the market, pre-marketed with staging, or not. And it's all about telling the story. I want you guys to think about when you've walked into a model home with a client and that feeling that comes when you walk through a builder's model home. And the builders know this. And so every single development, like a Pulte or a Ryan Brothers, they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars preparing their model home to tell a story. So when you walk into a house, a model home with a buyer, you don't have to sell this house. It's already being sold because there's so much pre-marketing that goes into these model homes. And that's the experience I'm trying to create when I'm staging your property. I'm taking into account who the probable buyer is. If we are staging a condo in DC, it's going to be something slick and sexy and young because the probable buyer is going to be a young professional who's just moved into the city, has a new job, and he wants something clean and fresh and easy. If we're doing a house in the suburbs, it's going to be a completely different aesthetic. We're going to go for something that's cozy and family. I'm going to have the children's room staged. I'm going to have a warm, welcoming, inviting family room where you can imagine yourself watching the next Caps game, and like looking forward to that with your friends, and a cookout on the patio. These are the experiences and the stories we're trying to tell when we're staging a home. And that's why staging is so important. I have 2 recent success stories for staging in a hot seller's market. If you're kind of thinking like, well, do I really need this or not? One was actually my husband Mark's listing in Kensington, and the home was newly remodeled. The floors had been done. We had done my paint colors, the bathrooms, the kitchen. The house looked great. It was this wide open space, open floor plan. We could have put it on the market and it would have sold very quickly. We decided to go the extra mile though and have it staged, and it was literally the cherry on top. And it made people fall in love with the property. Every single person who came through our open just talked about how much they loved the staging, and how a lot of them said, if my offer gets accepted, can I buy the furniture from you? Because of that story, again, going back to the story and creating a home. We had everything there that made you feel like a home. From the rugs to the coffee tables, the lamps, the artwork, there was the sense that this was a home, and that's what people are buying into. And the second example I have is a property that I staged in Alexandria for an agent where I've staged several of her properties, and she knew she needed me to come in to kind of be the buffer between her and her client. and she needed help in how to maximize the selling potential. She wanted to list the price. She promised her client she was going to list it at top dollar, and she needed to be able to back that up, and she knew staging was going to really help her get it over the last mile. The property had original bathrooms, an older kitchen, lots of wear and tear, 5 kids, awkward floor plan. It really needed the story to be told. So I came in, we painted the kitchen cabinets, fixed some of the problem areas on the flooring, painted the walls, and then we staged it. And that home sold first weekend on the market. The agent would have been happy to get list price because, as I said, she was already pushing the value when she listed it in the MLS. We got $30,000 over list price, completely non-contingent. And she knew it was because of the staging. And those are 2 success stories for sellers in a very hot market. So how staging works, you call me up or you send me an email and I come out to the property, I meet with your clients. I assess the property. If you would like, I can give recommendations as far as paint colors go, carpet colors, flooring, cabinetry, whether we should do certain tweaks like I did with the Alexandria property where we painted the kitchen cabinets. And then I go over pricing for full staging. It takes me, I like to get about a 2-week heads up that you would like me to stage a property so that I can start pulling pieces and thinking about the pieces that I want to put into the property. I have a really curated perspective on staging. I don't go into a furniture store and just buy a whole collection that they have sitting on the floor. I like to pick pieces from certain places and I like to blend them together. So I like to have as much leeway as possible, at least 2 weeks. So that's my full staging. And then it takes me about 2 days to fully stage. Move the furniture on the first day. The second day is what I call my zhuzhing day. I'm making beds and hanging artwork, and then we're done and ready for pictures. So the second part of my business is my consultations. And sometimes you'll have a listing where it's fully furnished, the people are living in the property. It's not really a good candidate for staging. So what I would recommend would be my consultations. And I come out for 2 hours and I meet with your clients and we talk about certain areas of the property or the home that could benefit from editing. I might say, you know, this room feels a little cramped. Let's get rid of this chair. Let's get rid of this art. Let's move this lamp over here. We need a little bit more lighting. A lot of the agents that I've worked for in the past have seen such great results from my consultations that they've included me as part of their listing presentation when they're competing for a listing. I am their designer on their team, and he sells it that way, and it gives him an advantage over other agents that don't offer that, don't offer the same services. And so I go to all of his new listings and I do consultations. If I feel that it is a good investment to stage, then he says, do whatever Tania says, because he has so much confidence in my work, because every single property that I've done, he is selling it for top dollar, and he is seeing serious return on investment. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching my video about staging and the importance of staging and the benefit to you and your clients with staging and editing and getting ready to go on market. As a thank you, I would like to offer my consultation. Is typically a 2-hour consultation is $350, and if you mention you saw my video, I'll be taking $100 off for the next 30 days. So a $350 consultation would be $250 for you. And I would love an opportunity to help you get your properties sold faster.